In 1945, the United States dropped 2 nuclear bombs on Japan, one on Hiroshima and another on Nagasaki. As a result, over 200,000 people were killed and many more wounded or without homes. The country's infrastructure was in ruins and its economy, which had been based on military production, was completely destroyed. But somehow, Japan rebuilt itself into the economic powerhouse it is today. So, how did it do that? Well, the first thing that the Japanese government did was to establish a complete monopoly on the production and sale of all alcoholic beverages. They did this in order to raise money to rebuild the country, and it worked. By 1949, the government was taking in more money from alcohol sales than even the entire American beer industry. The second thing they did was to introduce a new currency called the yen. This was necessary because the war had practically destroyed the Japanese economy and the government needed a way to raise money to rebuild the country. The new yen was backed by gold, and the government set its exchange rate at 3.5 to the dollar. This made it more valuable than the pre-war yen, which was trading at around 4 to the dollar. This meant that the government could sell fewer notes for the same amount of money, and this helped to finance the war effort. Next, the Japanese government began selling off state property. This included factories, farms, and even apartment buildings. The government also began to encourage foreign investment. They did this by offering tax breaks and other incentives to foreign businesses. This helped to bring in much-needed capital from abroad. Finally, the Japanese government began to focus on exports. They knew that they couldn't rely on imports to rebuild the country, so they had to focus on exports. They began by targeting the American market, and it worked. In 1946, Japan exported nearly $1 billion worth of goods to the United States. This trade surplus helped to finance the war effort, and it's also helped to lay the foundation for Japan's post-war economic growth. By 1950, Japan had rebuilt itself from the ashes of war. The country's GDP had returned to its pre-war levels, and it was exporting more goods than ever before. The Japanese people had shown the world that they were resilient, and that they were capable of rebuilding their country from the ground up. And that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, and I will see you next time.